Now I shall take over the universe.
Who are you anyway, and what are you doing here?
It doesn't matter. I don't have to explain anything. I'm evil.
You know, you don't have to do that, right?
But I'm evil. That's all I know.
Aww. Maybe this is a time for healing. All you really need is a hug.
I'm not a very huggy person. Now stand aside as I conquer this universe.
There's no way I'm gonna... Ooh, look at distraction.
What?
No one steals my screen time and gets away with it.
You know, Mr. Code, it never occurred to me until just right now that we're on a spaceship. Why didn't I ever know about that? These recent events have been so confusing.
What a coincidence. That's how I feel after today's episode. I have no idea. I don't even.
Well then, let's begin with your cross-examination.
The Apple family allows Apple Bloom to stay home alone.
I like how the CMC are taking more mature roles and scenarios this season. In Flight to the Finish, the subject of Scootaloo's disability came to the forefront and her coming to terms with it. In Twilight Time, instead of seeking outrageous cutie marks, they're focusing their talents on more down-to-earth, applicable talents and skills suited for their personalities and past exploits. And in today's episode, Apple Bloom shows that she is able to handle the responsibility of staying home alone, completing all of her chores in a timely manner and not messing anything up. And this season especially overall has shown how far they come in their maturity growth since the first season. As for Applejack, she seemed to be hit with a stupid stick this episode.
Applejack returns home to monitor her sister and ensure her safety.
AJ has become a neurotic, overbearing helicopter parent. You gotta open the door to get to the spoons, blow on the foot of its hut. What the hell is wrong with you? And that's just small potatoes to the length she's going to protect Apple Bloom. You do know the CMC have been on countless wild exploits to achieve their cutie marks, right? And yet you've shown no level of restraint before. I can just look back at Sister Hoof's social. Regardless of any past scenario you can think of, here her fear of Apple Bloom is so artificial and completely out of nowhere, it feels like a Meriwether Williams episode, and how out of character AG is, and at no point does she ever justify this radical shift in her demeanor. Applejack has demonstrated numerous times throughout the series that she is typically the stable and firm pony who can usually encounter any situation and be able to provide good advice or take it in stride. In some way, she was a level-headed one, dealing with Turner Hoof and Rarity's love triangle scenario. Now, anxiety is understandable for a parent when they're leaving their child at home alone for the first time. Not knowing if they're okay or not, and if they can't handle responsibility for whatever reason, then it would be natural not to try such a venture again until in the future where the child proves that they can be responsible at home. However, in this scenario, the fact that she baby-proofs Apple Bloom's entire lifestyle is just insulting to her maturity growth.
This was kind of your fault.
It was! Apple Bloom was doing just fine on her own, and that one accident that prompts her weird and even insane levels of paranoia.
Family's way more important than pies.
Yeah, and how is your family supposed to stay financially sound on the farm if you don't deliver orders to anyone? Make money? Why don't you bank on her well-being when she's homeless? Do I even need to mention the supply she's wasting baby-proofing the farm? This is just a big step backwards for her character. All the while, we had Big Mac demonstrate more of his silent but sage advice about trusting Apple Bloom. He's the smart one. Everyone's smart except AJ. And I really can't call out Apple Bloom's plan to deliver the pies through a dangerous mountain because it's literally all she can work with in Applejack's current gone state. I mean, what's the alternative? Just sit in her room forever?
Apple Bloom attempts to deliver the pies to the mountain town.
Oh, look at that big orange basketball-shaped head of his sleeping.
Again, as foolish as it may be for her to go on this trek, at least she brought a map and managed to get through most of the fire swamp without incident. I love the atmosphere in the scene. The color palette, fogs, and subtle music track actually make this a surprisingly tense setup. Easily the best part of the episode.
And ready to hurt! Smackdown!
It also builds up this awesome-looking chimera, which then turned out to be a real missed opportunity. One, because they were no way a subtle proxy for AJ and Apple Bloom's current relationship. Two, their dialogue was stiff and repetitive. And three, simply loses the intimidation factor when they actually have a voice. Had it been a wild animal, this scene could have had so much more drama, with the threat of dealing with a carnivore that can't be bargained or reasoned with. But violence can only go so far in a kid's show, so I won't fault it too much. I can fault how forced AJ's rescue is, shoving in your face the point about keeping Apple Bloom safe. Had this animal encounter been the inciting incident for AJ's paranoid behavior, I could understand her plight better with her overall protection and be more lenient to her behavior. But here it's just sending mixed messages, wherein it's trying to prove that they're both right, with AJ saying that she was right in keeping her safe, yet Apple Bloom trumps her with proving that she's able to successfully be responsible anyway, trumping AJ's justification of everything she was doing, proving how incompetent and paranoid she was, and that if she had just trusted her sister and done nothing in the first place, nothing bad would have happened. So they deliver the pies, and AJ's final turnabout to becoming less protective is extremely forced. What began as a lesson in maturity for Apple Bloom turned into a weird look into AJ's mindset. Had a logical and life-threatening reason been established from the beginning of the episode for AJ's overbearing self, I could let this pass. It's an almost carbon copy of elements straight out of Spike at your service. This is probably the weakest episode of the whole season. We got some minor growth in Apple Bloom's maturity, we got some cool scenes in the fire swamp. Other than that, there really wasn't much else. Just a huge regression in AJ's demeanor and a message that I could barely comprehend because it was so shallow and artificial. Watch Finding Nemo if you want to see the scenario of the overprotective parent done right. His wife and all but one children were eaten, so Marlin's overbearing nature is completely understandable, and in his journey to find Nemo, he learns that his son has to experience an unfiltered world eventually, despite how unsafe it may be, but overall it would broaden his horizon and show the great aspects of the world. That's all for this week, and as for you, Mr. Scott Sonneborn,
Objection!